Okay, we're starting from this is the 2022 version of the 7th grade state test, and we're going to solve question by question. We're going to skip some of the questions, but basically, if you are preparing for the 7th grade state test, just watch the problems and you're going to do better. So the first question that we're going to start with is the question number 4. Let's go. A spinner has 5 equal-sized sections colored blue, red, orange, yellow, and green. The arrow on a spinner was spun 50 times during the experiment. The results are shown in a table below. Okay, so this is the results of 50 spins. Based on the results, what is the experimental probability that on any one spin the arrow will land on the red section? So what is the experimental probability and what's theoretical? So there are 2 types of probabilities, experimental and theoretical. Theoretical probability is basically if we have 5 sections, right? Like 5 sections, equal sections. That means that each color will have a 20% chance, right? Because 100% divided by 5 will be 20. So it's going to be a 20% chance. Now, but experimental probability is a probability that we count based on what happened, like let's say in this specific experiment. And that's what they want. They want us to calculate from what happened. How do we get generally the probability? Probability is everything, right? Like all events, right? Like the quantity of all events, and in the numerator we're putting the desired outcome, right? The desired outcome is red, right? And we just go and look for red, and it's going to be 15, and it's going to be 15 out of the total of the 50 outcomes, which is not here. And we know why, because it's unsimplified fraction that we're going to simplify by dividing by 5, which will give us 3/10. This is it. We're moving on to question number 5. I'm going to zoom in on this question because it's going to be, this is an algebra. This is an algebra question, and with some distributive property. So what we're going to do here is when we see parentheses and when we see the number outside of the parentheses, what we do, your instinct should just go to do this distributive property. So it's going to be like this. It's going to be -3 times 2x. Usually, we don't write that because we do it in our mind, but that's what we see in our mind. It's going to be -3 times 2x, which is -6x. And that's how we write it. That's how we write it. Now, the second thing is going to be -3 times -8. Don't forget to include that negative with the 8. We don't look at it as a subtraction in between 2x and 8. We look at it as positive 2x and -8 inside of the parentheses. Those are like 2 terms standing next to each other. Okay? So -3 times -8, negative times negative is positive. So it's going to be positive 24. So it's going to be, and that's how we're going to write it. It's going to be plus 24. And then we just copy down the 4x. And now we need to perform something that's called combining like terms. So what are the like terms here? The like terms here are -6x and positive 4x that we have to smoosh together. So how do we smoosh together -6x and positive 4x? Well, we just do what they say. Like nothing is in between them. So -6 plus 4 is -2, and x just carries. So the answer will be -2x plus 24. And this is B. So this is the question that's broken down to the fullest. There's nothing more and there's nothing less here. We're moving on to the next question that I'm going to zoom out a little bit. And this question is question number 9. The data set below represents the distribution of daily high temperature in the city for 8 days. What is the median daily high temperature in degrees Fahrenheit in the city? So we just have to find median. That's all we have to do. You need to know what is a median and how to find it. Step 1 to find the median is to list all these numbers from lowest to greatest. Let's do it. And as you do it, just cross out the number that you listed. It helps. It really does. So we're going to start with 66, if I'm right. Okay, so crossed it out. The next one is going to be 70. Thank you. The next one is going to be 72. Then another 72. Then it's going to be 73. Then it's going to be 75. Then it's going to be 79 and 81. Okay? Median is the number that's in the middle. So this goes away, 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 this goes away. But we have 2. We don't have a 1. We have 2 numbers. What do we do when we have 2 numbers? We add them and divide by 2, which is just middle in between 72 and 73. If you do it on a calculator, I'll just go ahead and say what the answer is going to be. It's going to be 72.5. And that will be the answer. If, let's say, these 2 numbers are not like 72, 73, if there will be like, I don't know, like 70, it doesn't even matter what, like 70 and 95, let's say, right? Then you just add them and divide by 2 and you will have the answer, And just in this particular case, it's easy, because they're like one after the consecutive numbers, one after the other. Okay, moving on to the next question. The next question, question number 10. And the menu at the ice cream store is shown below. How many different choices of one size, one flavor, and one topping can be made from the menu? This is called a combination question. Combination question. Combination question is basically always the same. In order to find how many possible combinations we can have, we just have to multiply the choices. Or in other words, multiply how many choices of each, like let's say in this case, size, flavor, and topic we have. So we have 3 sizes, we have 3 flavors, we have 3 toppings. And as easy as that, we're just going to have to multiply 3 times 3 times 3. But if there will be more sizes or more flavors, so what? You just multiply different numbers, but 3 times 3, 9, times 3, 27. And this is it. All combination questions are very, very similar. If you will remember how to do this particular one, you'll remember, you'll be able to do all of them. All right. Next question. The question that looks like the proportions are the answer. So let's see how it's going to go. The cost for 10 ounces of the organic blueberries is $2.70. Which equation can be used to determine X, the cost in dollars for 30 ounces of organic blueberries? Okay, so this question has some sort of a slight complication. And I'll tell you what the complication is. So this is a classic proportion question. Although proportions can be set up in a different way and they'll all still be right. So you're going to have to set up your own proportion first, and then I'll tell you how to find the correct one. So how do we set up a proportion? I personally set up a proportion in the specific way. I don't put different types of values in the same fraction. So if I put 10 ounces here, I'm not going to put ounces anywhere else besides here. Okay? So what I do, I first find the first, let's say, corresponding pieces of information, and I just put them across from each other. Like 10 ounces equals to $2.70. And then they ask for 30 ounces. So there's only one place I can put it. It's here, under the 10. And the question, how much is it, is going to be X. Now, we kind of like don't see one like that. You see that? We don't have 10 over 30 equals 2. So what will be the answer then? So don't panic in this situation. All we have to find is the proportion that has x, like let's say, across, not across, right? Is it across? Across from the x and 30 that's diagonally across, right? From the $2.70. So which one is that? Look at this. This one is 270 across from the x. No. This one is 10 and 30. No, we need 30 and 270. So no. This one is 270 and 30 and 10 in the x. This is the answer. So is this proportion wrong? No. Is this one wrong? Also no. Proportions can be set differently. And as long as we know which numbers are going to be across vertically from each other, will be correct. And we moving on to the next question. The next question will be question number 19. All right. Which expression has the same value as the expression shown below? All right, so we have negative 3/8, negative 7/8, and there are multiple ways to do it. We can technically just calculate what the answer is here and just find the same answer, but this is actually not that hard because, I mean, it's not going to be a, right? 3/8 plus 7/8. Because this is negative 10/8, right? Because negative 3 minus 7 is negative 10. So this is just going to be 10/8. So this is not the answer. This is going to be 4/8. That's not the answer. This is going to be 3 minus 7, which is negative 4. No. The correct answer is D. Why it is D? Because you need to know that plus followed by a number inside of the parentheses, which is negative, just gives you negative. Like plus and minus in a row is just minus. So this is just that, which is exactly what we have here. You need to remember, if you have minus minus like that, like let's say if you would have, I don't know, like let's say if you have 5 minus minus 3, right, is 5 plus 3. Because minus and then followed by the minus inside turns into a plus. But if you have, like, let's say 5 plus negative 3 plus minus turns into a minus. It will be just 5 minus 3. The same logic is here. You just need to know that plus minus is minus. Okay? This is it. All right. Next question is 20. Okay. A chef made 150 cups of chili and sold 60% of it. A serving size of a chili is 1 2/3 cups. How many servings of the chili were sold? Okay, so first, what I want to find out is how many cups did he sell? Not how many percent, how many cups. So how do we do it? Well, we have to find what it, because they say he sold 60%, right? So we just need to find what is 60% of 150. How do we do it? On the calculator, thank you very much. It's going to be 150 times 0.60, which is 150 times 0.60 is going to be 90. So he sold 90 cups. But now we want to find out how many servings in that. So those 90 cups were like split. You know, they're like they were split into this many, like into these servings. But if we split something, what do? We divide. This is an act of division, right? So we divide by 1 2/3. So 90 divided by 1 2/3 is the same as 90 times. You know what? Let's not rush. Let's actually convert that first, okay? So 1 2/3 can be converted as 5/3, right? 1 times 3 is 3 plus 2 is 5, so 5/3. So then we want to do keep change flip, right? So it's going to be 90 times 3/5. And if you have a calculator which doesn't do fractions, I'll show you how to multiply by a fraction without actually writing a fraction. That's how you do it. You first multiply by a numerator, and then the same, like right, you can press, and then you divide by a denominator, and you can press it right over here, division, denominator, boom, that's the answer. Okay, so this is how you multiply by a fraction. Times the numerator divided by the denominator. The answer is 54. Moving on. Number 21. No, we're not doing 21. What are we doing? 25. We're skipping. We're skipping, and we're going to number 25. A gardener uses a total of 61.5 gallons of gasoline in 1 month. Of the total amount of gasoline, 3/5 was used in his lawnmowers. How many gallons of gasoline did gardener use in his lawnmowers in 1 month? So this is a straightforward question in terms of it's not one step per se, but it's like one action, one main action, right? Because they say that there were like 61.5 gallons, right? And 3/5 of that, right? Like if we divide this into 5 pieces, like this much, right, was used. But how do we find that 3/5 of that? You know, just like percents, kinda. We multiply. If we want to find a fraction of something, we multiply that something by that fraction. Okay? So now we know what to do, right? We're going to do this, but how do we do it? Because this is a decimal. This is a, you know what? Let's use my trick that I just said before. 61.5 times 3 divided by 5. Boom. 36.9. That's it. Works perfectly. What's the next one? 31. Okay. Oh, percents. You know, a lot of percents. Okay. Mr. Jason purchased an airline ticket on the website. The original price of the airline tickets was $473. He used a coupon code to receive 20% discount. Nice. A sales tax of 12% was applied after the discount. What is the total purchase price of the airline ticket after the discount, including the sales tax? All right. So this is like unlike the last problem, right? When we had one main action. This is two main actions. Well, technically, it can be more. But why do I say it's two main actions? Because we're going to have to find how much is that discount in money. Take it out. Then find how much is the tax of the new price. And then add it on top of the price. That's how it works in the real world. Okay? So, to find what is 20% of the 473, we're going to do 473 times 0.20, which is 94.6. I write 60 because we don't write 0.6 when we talk about money, because we don't say $0.6, right? We say like $94.60. Okay, so now this is a discount. What do we do with the discounts? We take it out of the price because we don't. We're going to hold on. No, everything's working. Okay. It was an OBS situation. All right. So now we're going to find the 12% tax of that price. So it's going to be 378.40 times 0.12, which is 378 and 40 times 0.12, which is $45 and let's say 41 cents, right? We're gonna round. $45 and 41 cents. This is the tax that we're going to add to the price. So it's going to be like on the real test, you don't really have to write it down like I do. You can, but we can just write here on the calculator, right? Just press plus and just add it. And that will be the answer, $423.81. Rounded to the nearest. And the answer is C. And that's how we find the final price after the tax. All right, so this was the part 1 of the 7th grade state test questions. We're going to continue on our next class, but for now, that will be it.